One of the earliest memories I have of my dad is the first time me and him went out and we threw baseball together for the first time. See, I loved the idea of the game of baseball. I was about 5 years old, and I loved the idea of the game of baseball. It intrigued me. I watched my brothers play growing up, and when I was about 5 years old, my dad bought me a glove. He bought me my first glove, and while, yes, it was a cheap glove. It was from Walmart. It was like $1, something. No, that was more than $1, but obviously, it was a glove nonetheless. And it was the first time that we threw. I'll never forget that. It was a memory that I've kept with me, that I've cherished my entire life. And while I'm still playing this sport, it's something that set the foundation for me for years to come. Another memory that I've cherished with my dad throughout my life has been growing up, him doing devotions with me at nighttime, him reading me scripture at nighttime, and teaching me these lessons, teaching me these morals from scripture and things like this that have shaped me into the person I am today, shaped my morals, shaped my values, shaped how I treat other people. And as I'm graduating high school this year and moving off to the real world, moving into college, I value these things more and more every day. These memories, these ideas, more and more every single day. But when I was about 12 years old, so about 5th grade, 6th grade, the dichotomy, the relationship between me and my dad, there was a shift. There was a shift in the relationship. See, when I was about 5th grade, my dad was diagnosed with stage 4 carcinoid cancer. And now, while carcinoid cancer is a very rare type of cancer, it's deadly nonetheless. It's so rare they sometimes skip over it in classes. But this is a rare type of cancer, deadly nonetheless. So when he was diagnosed with this, our family took a trip down to New Orleans. And if you've ever been to New Orleans, you'll never forget it. Interesting city. It's a little different. They have good food, though. I'll say that. They have very good food. But we brought my dad down there, and he had surgery where his cancer was. He had surgery on his liver. Well, he had this surgery, and the surgery went great, actually. The surgery went great. But after the surgery, the doctor still diagnosed him. The doctor still told him that he had about 5 years to live. 5 years. So this was something that hit me like a brick wall. This life expectancy, that his amount of years to live could be the same amount of years that my niece was at the time, and that idea hit me like a brick wall. This nightmare that I was thinking, this nightmare that came to my head was something that I dealt with for a long time. What if he's not here? What if I don't have him in my life even? But this nightmarish reality isn't such a imaginative state for many kids in the U.S. Many kids in the U.S., actually about 18.3 million, or 25% of children in the U.S., grow up without a step, biological, or even adoptive father, found by the U.S. Census Bureau. That means 18.3 million. 18.3 million kids growing up in the United States of America had to face this reality that wasn't a reality for me. It was an idea. It was a thought that, what if my dad isn't here in the future? But for these 18.3 million kids, their dad wasn't there. Their dad wasn't there to throw baseball. Their dad wasn't there to do these types of things. And you say, well, what's the big deal? Just because they don't have their dad there to read them, to teach them morals, or just because they don't have their dad there to throw a baseball with them, well, that doesn't, okay, why is this such a big problem? Well, the U.S. Department of Justice found that 63% of youth suicides involve a child who was living in a fatherless home when they made their final decision. See, this isn't just a problem that has to do with our kids' athletic ability. This isn't just a problem that affects them and whether they'll play a sport growing up. This isn't just a problem that will determine their economic success of whether they make $100,000 a year, of whether they're the CEO of the company. This isn't just a problem that affects whether they'll be a great actor one day, even. This is a problem that's killing our kids. 63% of kids who commit youth suicide in America grew up without a father, who have no father in their home at all. This is a problem. And this number is only growing. The Pew Research Center even found that 50% of all children born to married parents today will experience the divorce of their parents before they are 18 years old. So if this number is killing, if this statistic of having no father in our life is killing our kids, they're committing suicide, they're killing themselves. And with this number at 50% of parents getting divorced, of kids having no father after this incident, then what's the solution? We have to come up with a solution. Well, a school in Ohio saw this as a problem. They recognized the statistical disadvantages that was going on with kids who had no dad, with kids who had no experiences, who had no memories of these things taking place when they were young. So a program in Ohio created something called the Guys with Ties program. Well, the Guys with Ties program, they take the kids about a couple times out of the month, and they take the kids out of recess. During their recess time, they take them out of class, and they basically teach them how to be a man, some manners. They teach them table manners. They teach them how to tie a tie. These men do, these male role models that come to school. They teach them stuff like this, and they teach them stuff like how to hold a door open for someone, how to be a guy, how to be a man, how to be a gentleman. Because being a man, growing up, if we don't have these male role models, these things, programs like this, we need more of them, not less of them. Because this does affect our kids. Programs like this, in the long run, they help our kids out. When there's this statistical of a disadvantage, when our kids don't have dads, we have to find any way, shape, or form to find a solution. Because I know when I had the thought of my dad not being there, of him never being in my life again, that was one of the worst, the scariest moments of my life. And for that to be a reality, it's a shame. And it's something that I'm scared for anyone who has to live through that. So as we go out into the world, as we leave high school, as we grow up as people and individuals, we need to make commitments that if there's a program like this, we help out. We help with kids who don't have dads. We be good citizens. We're good role models for our kids to look up, for our men to look up to.